Poor Bird, man.
I thought I was the only one that caught that. I said it already, but I think y'all was on it. So
even Birdman looked at Megan Thee Stallion's contract and was like, "Damn."
Speaking of that,
that's unnecessary.
Yeah. He showed up to her with paperwork. Was like, I want to talk to you as a man in your face. So you want to come get on this cash money game?
Yo. Hey, but for real though, man, like we talked about this. I want to guess what 3 episodes ago, give or take.
And it was the whole
about
Puff
the contracts and all that. And I'm like, when Jay Moore broke down the specifics, I'm like,
the specifics
like
of
the like her agreement. Remember, he was going through the list, and I'm just like, yo, you said your line was the funniest when you said like at that point you're pretty much qualified to be like what you say, a college senior or something like that?
Because she said when she signed the contract, she was 21 years old.
Right.
So that's around the time when you're a college senior, junior, senior. If you went through and did everything in the right order,
but
and you got just like an associate's degree on the way or some shit, yeah.
No, but the breakdown is, I don't know. Like, I'm sure she had representation. I hope she had representation. But she said, I just signed it. I didn't really know what was going on. I'm like,
hey, that's on her.
Yeah, this is not a Puffy situation. This is not. You can't blame. What's my man, Carl Crawford? You can't blame him. No. She didn't read the contract.
Tell him some of the stipulations.
Yeah, you got the specifics.
Contract.
This is the thing. Okay, Carl Crawford and his company.
Carl Crawford is a cunt.
Look, he is an associate with Jay Prince. Don't get us in no trouble.
Yeah,
you said it. I'm just repeating it.
Yeah.
But
be cool. Be cool. Jay Prince
he
come
has,
up here.
They're owed 60% of all her recording earnings. She gets 40, and out of that 40, they have to pay recording costs, engineering, producers, and anybody who's featured on a record. So all the money that comes out of actually creating the art basically comes out of her 40%. Any profits, they automatically get 60%. Then they get 30% of all like merchandising, touring, endorsements, any extra income. Now, this sounds like a 360. It does, but usually with a 360, you get a large, sometimes unrecoupable amount of money up front.
Lump sum,
yeah. They gave her it basically $10,000, and it was of a recoupable, which basically means she had to pay that back out of the 40%. Now, I've been one of those people who's always seen a lot of, knowing what New Edition went through, knowing what
New Kids on the Block.
New Kids on the Block.
Yeah.
You had to know both of them together.
The Locks.
The Locks, NWA, all the jerk contracts that you've seen.
Shout out to Mace.
And not to say it's her fault, but there's a
kinda is.
It is, but this is what record companies do. Is they're like, okay, you need a lawyer to review this. We got a lawyer over here. Our lawyer will be happy to review the contract for you. And it's already a conflict of interest, but nobody wants to talk about things like that.
I feel like it's still to keep on the point that I mentioned a few episodes ago when we were talking about this. I still think, even though she definitely has some sort of responsibility in reading the contract, I mean, we're still talking about intentionally manipulative entities of record labels, like trashing people, like it is a trash contract, and you are taking advantage of somebody knowingly when you do that.
You
don't care about them
for whatever you feel about her art or whether or not you like her. This is thievery. Yeah. Basically, okay, we keep almost all the money. You pay for everything out of the 40% we give you.
That's the part. The part that is interesting is the fact that they don't have any type of recoupable, like they get a flat 60%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they get a flat 30 from everything else. So I'm guessing she gets the 70 on that.
She gets the 70, but
that was merchandise and touring, right?
But this is the thing, merchandise and touring is usually where artists,
you get to recoup it.
Even if that's your money.
Yeah.
Usually the t-shirts you see when you go to a concert, the artist gets 100% of that outside of the cost of creating the actual t-shirt.
But still, it's not unheard of that a label still gets a percentage of touring revenue.
Well, if depending on the amount of money they put into promotion,
right?
You know, but when you're and this is also a different time when we're talking about the 360 era, but you know, because Jay-Z, when it was time for the Blueprint 3, that's when he got his 360 deal. Now, mind you, he got like $100 million up front. Okay, so
they knew what it was going to do.
You know, so
that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. So if you're getting a check for $100 million, okay, but a lot of these other, because trust me, Megan's not the only person that signed a contract like this.
Oh no,
you know, like I said, there was a template out there for her, you know, to have this happen. To
Remember,
her.
Blueface couldn't even tell you what the hell he signed.
Yeah,
he it was him, and I remember Yachty a while back. He was like, because I remember Joe Budden asked him, "Are you in a 360 deal?" And he was like, "I really don't know. I just know we have a partnership with QC, and they do distribution with Columbia or something like that."
And really I got more money than I ever had in my life, so I don't ask any questions. That's pretty much what it boils down to.
But Lone's point is right when if you look at it, like, what are the intentions, the initial intentions of the contract? Like, it's really for them to eat. Like, we always talk about the 4080 record companies are shady, right? So this is the epitome of that. I'm just saying from her side, I just think certain people, I would think more people will be like, yo, I want you to give me every specific that comes on the contract that I'm about to sign. Let's walk through I want you to tell me everything. How I get paid for this, how I get paid for that, what I don't get paid for, what I'm responsible for.
Just put their name on a dotted line and take an Instagram picture.
So that's why, to your point, I don't want to be, you know, I can't relate to that. So I don't want to say what I would do. I'm just thinking from the outside looking in from our lens. Like, I would want to know as much as I possibly could, like, to save myself long term.
And
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's your right as an artist to ask those questions, you know, to say, hey, what does this mean?
That's what the lawyers pay for.
Hopefully you have somebody that can explain that to you.
Once again, this is where, you know, and I don't know who's listening to this, and maybe if you're a young artist right now and you're listening to our podcast, like, do not spend the money that you created a buzz. You're starting to get a little bit of money here and there. You don't have representation. You're not signed to a deal yet. This is not the time for you to spend your money on middle of the mall jewelry, used German cars, and bottle service trying to impress people. This is the time for you to go ahead and get a good entertainment lawyer, good contract lawyer, because when that deal does come to you, then you have somebody who's really looking out for your best interest. Because what the sad thing is, I don't think they had someone. I mean, they had people who might have had her best interest because, you know, unfortunately her mom, you know, rest in peace, you know, she had her best interest in heart, but didn't have the expertise to really know what it was to ask for and what to look for in the contract.
That's the part.
So when you look at
get paid to do that,
and the thing is, a lot of times people want to be famous. So, you know, it's. I don't know if you guys ever seen a movie called Cadillac Records. Basically,
sounds familiar.
Yeah. And it was like when they were sitting down, Mos Def played Chuck Berry in the movie, and he said, "I'm
Legend.
you know," he was like, "I'm going about to make you rich and you famous." It was like, "What? Here, let me go ahead and change seats here," because the thing is, like, some people are just so happy to be famous. They don't care about being rich. So when, you know, if you're a fan of Megan, you saw her on TV and she's in videos, and you see all those wrestling outfits that she wears at her concerts, all that stuff came out of her pocket.
Don't do that.
But still, you have to kind of wonder too, at the same time,
They didn't pay for that.
How much the record labels are valuing their reach, and how much that actually is how much is the reach of a record label actually worth? You know, the distribution platforms that you can put out, that they can push through, the notoriety that they can push. How much is that actually worth? Is that worth 60% of your contract?
Not anymore.
Her
exactly. That's my point.
Not even
with
close.
a management company, though, right? He's just a management company, or is it a record company?
Well, he's a management / record company, which is where she's going to have a leg to stand on, considering she has a basically injunction against them now, to where she can't put out her records because, you know, you can't. The record company can't be your management.
It can't.
Yeah, it's a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Yep.